To see you again.
Thank you for having me.
I think a lot of people, especially those who don't go to church, don't practice any faith, would think, well, I'm going to just go have some Easter candy. Like, let me go buy some jelly beans. They're on sale. Or perhaps they think we shouldn't even be talking about these things. But do you believe there's a relevance to the conversation around faith, whether you're Jew, Christian, or Muslim, and how faith is a good synonym for love?
Absolutely. Faith is a great synonym for love. And I believe that when you're a person of faith, that means that you're committing to some values, something that anchors you.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's really what we need. We need some things to anchor us. And no matter what faith you're in, we have to center back on love. And I believe that that love component is something that is a thread between all different faiths that helps us understand that we have to get outside of ourselves to serve our fellow man.
Yeah, because I think about what's going on. We had this deadly school shooting at a Christian school. I think it may be the first deadly school shooting to happen at a faith-based educational institution. I'd have to check my facts on that. But obviously, those people are going through hell. Losing 3 9-year-old children, losing 3 of their staff, including the head of the school. What do we say to someone who feels like life is over right now, especially if they're questioning whether there is a God?
There's so many things, Adrienne, in life that happen that we can't understand, and we may never get an explanation for.
So true.
But I think that's what faith in God is. Faith in God is not something that is always convenient. It's putting my trust and belief in something that is higher than me, that is stronger than me, something I can't see, feel, touch, or taste. And I believe that for those who are suffering through grief and through loss, I think that they have to understand that that love that God shows us as we believe as Christians, that can transcend any kind of moment. And there's a time where you really need a dependence on God. You need His help to be able to give you strength to be able to move past and take it day by day, especially in the case of a tragedy.
Yeah, tragedy. There are a lot of people who would say, well, I have that belief, but I believe it's the universe. I don't believe it's in a person or it's in a God. And I don't believe I even call it He. I call it the universe, or the positivity that I want around me, the light that I have around me. But for so many people, there is a debate. There is religious persecution happening in this world. There is the persecution of Jewish people and some of the anti-Semitic behavior that we've seen. And so it becomes very divisive to talk about religion. Is there a way to recenter the conversation so that we can come together under this unifying principle of love, do you think, in 2023, rather than point the finger and say, don't force your opinions on me, don't force your beliefs on me? I can say, I'm going to respect what you believe because I know that at the end of the day, we all want the same thing. We all want love.
At the end of the day, we're always more powerful and stronger together. Yeah. If we focus on the things that divide us, we'll just end up farther divided. But if we can focus on the things that are commonalities, the things that can bring us closer, I believe that we can find strength in that common ground. And I believe that as we find that common ground, we'll understand that the morals and values that we hold are important. They're important to the fabric of society. I believe it was Theodore Roosevelt who said, to educate a man in mind, but not in morals, is to educate a menace to society. And I believe that's what we have to center back on, the things that we can agree on that can help us better society and help grow each other.
I see all of the things that we deal with in the political arena, whether it's, the LGBTQ plus community feeling like they are being ravaged by politics that are conservative and that are an affront to love. I see children who are using drugs at record numbers because of depression and anxiety reaching heights that the world has never seen, and they're looking for some type of escape route from reality. And then I see people who don't know what to do because they don't feel safe in their homes. How is this particular week, where we see Holy Week for 3 major religions, a time for us all to refocus and say, you know what? We need each other. We need each other more than we ever have.
That's right. And we need to focus back on the things that are important. We need to step outside of ourselves and understand that there is a calling and a purpose that we all have. And then there's a responsibility that we have to be able to care for each other. And I believe that even in Christianity, that's what we are encouraged to do, is care for the needs of others through love.
And it's a good reminder for everyone when it comes to faith. It's not just a word, but it's action. I know you have a new book out called Authentic, The Confidence to Be Yourself. Everybody's looking for people to be real nowadays. So get that book wherever books are sold. Pastor David Winston, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. And also a shout out to my daughter, Lily,
Yes.
who is 12 years old today. Happy birthday.
That's a big birthday. Happy birthday, Lily. I know your mom and dad and your grandparents all love you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.